On this week's Ring of Honor, we are drafting the core of the Ottawa Senators.
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome! You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. We've also got Jack Richardson with us, and we'll get to him shortly. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Hockey season and football season are around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today to start planning your future bets now. Today is Friday, August 29th, and Pillsy, I'll get to you in a moment. But Jack, it is great to see you. How are things, man?
Things are good. Busy summer for yours truly over here. Been all over the country, it feels like. And I'm settled in Montreal now, not Brockville anymore. Deeper in enemy territory, unfortunately. But I think I'm ready to do some Ring of Honor today, which we'll get to. And I'm excited to not do a postcast. I feel like I haven't recorded with you guys in a year. So it's a bit different. Not live. We can be a bit more relaxed, maybe you could say, in this one. So I'm excited, boys. It's been good. I've missed doing the pods, obviously. And looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to talking. There's a pretty good topic that we have today to get hyped for the next season.
Oh yeah, we're fired up. You're here with us, Jack. And Ross, you almost could loop your intro on the outskirts of enemy territory. I mean, Jack in Montreal. I would say Montreal is getting right, maybe even surpassing Toronto as enemy number one here. So yeah. Jack, while we're on that, how's it been rocking a Sens hat in Montreal? How's that going for you?
Yeah, it's been okay. Everyone's kind of nice. I think it's more of a, anyone who lives in Toronto probably gets the same thing. And all the Sens fans here probably know it's more of a look down on you kind of mentality. And but I think it's going to be fun because both teams are really just climbing at the right time. I think both making the playoffs last year as wildcard teams. And they're going to be looking to get into the top three in the Atlantic. They're the two knocking on the door. So I think it's going to be an exciting few years for both teams. And hopefully the Sens will come out on top as they have for years now. Let's not forget that the Sens have finished higher than the Habs, I think, for 4 straight seasons. I think it's important to remember. But yeah, it's been great. It's a beautiful city. It's really great, close to home too. But it's been a nice move so far. And I'm really comfortable in Montreal so far.
So let me try this again. Au cœur du territoire ennemi. It's Jack Richardson.
C'est bon.
That was good. C'est bon. I got to work on my French too.
How is your French, Jack? How's that?
You know what? I feel like I can understand it perfectly fine, okay. But I overestimated maybe a little bit how comfortable I was speaking it. But people are great because they're all English too. So if they hear you struggling, you can quickly switch to English. But it's coming along. I've only been here for about a month. So
I mean, Jack, even if you think you're good at French like Ross. Not that I love watching Ross in Montreal. He's strutting around. He's like, I speak French. Goes up to the front desk, speaks French. Immediate English response.
However, the front desk at a hotel where they're more likely to get English speakers.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You tried.
I go back and forth pretty well at the old coffee shop. But yeah, that's a tough look when they talk back to you in English right away.
It's not ideal, but like I went to a press conference and I needed a little cable for my camera. I tried to speak French. It was a government of Quebec press conference, and I didn't know how to say it. So I was like, "Est-ce que vous avez le cable?" And like I just completely I didn't know the word for it. So it's a work in progress, but I'm really just tapping into growing up in Ottawa, which is a bilingual city, which not a lot of people know that are from outside the city. Obviously, Sens fans do though. The Ottawa Gatineau area. So yeah, it's in the background. I just got to tap into it a bit more.
Hell yeah. Well, in the forefront today is the Ring of Honor drafting the Senators core. And recently on the show, we did our top 5 Senators right now. But I think this is a little bit different. The way we want to break this down is as though we are all managing an expansion team and we're making our list of who the most valuable players are on the Ottawa Senators. So that means the prospects with high ceilings should absolutely be taken. And you got to at least a little bit consider the contract status of the player. I don't think that's going to be the overriding decision maker to tip the scales one way or another. Maybe it is. But if you're running a team and you're able to pick apart the Ottawa Senators one by one, we're drafting the order in which you can do it. How is that explanation, Pillsy? Does it make sense?
Yeah, that's good. So like contracts, age, skill, health, all those things are in consideration. Now, where I'm curious to see another tweak on where value is are we going to try to spread ourselves positionally in this draft, or is it just, hey, I'm taking best player available, I'm taking value? So that'll be interesting to see if the voters also consider, well, sure, Ross is a sick team, but he's got only 4 forwards. What's he going to do on defense? How about in goal? That'll be interesting.
It will be interesting, and I hope that the voters know.
Ross is going 4 forwards, just played his hand.
Who won last week's Ring of Honor? It was an impressive achievement that Pillsy got 59% of the votes in the most impressive achievements Ring of Honor. So Pillsy, you're red hot right now, and that means you get to pick the order as well.
Thank you. So I've had a couple wins under my belt now, so I'm not going to do the whole speech I did with you and Sens Prospects, Ross. I've learned how to win now that I'm not just automatic third place in all these, so I'll just graciously move on and say the order. Jack, our guest of honor, finally got him back. I will give you the first overall pick. Ross, you're going to go second, and I will be at the 3 turn. What do we feel about that?
Jack, if you were picking it, would you have chosen third?
Yeah, I would have gone with the third slot for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm when we start, we'll get into it, but I feel like there's no wrong choice at first. It's actually, if it's a similar feeling, I've got my NFL fantasy draft coming up here, and I've got the first pick in that as well. And it's just, you have all these options, but I just feel like I'm going to pick the wrong guy.
Where to go.
So I feel like I'm in a similar spot right now. I've got to make the choice at the top, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the burden. So I appreciate it, Pillsy.
Yeah,
Nice.
1, 2, 3 is just about as interchangeable.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'll let you two decide who second and third are, and then I'll take, or first and third, or first and second. Holy moly, first and second are, and I'll take who's ever left at third and get some good value on 4. So that was my thinking. My strategy worked out last time. I decided to go second because I didn't think Martian was going to pick my 1-1. So let's see if it plays out this time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the draft coming up on the other side. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. You guys know FanDuel is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and the NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the FanDuel app. FanDuel is my go-to sportsbook because they got all sorts of ways to play. Player props, same game parlays, or even jump into a game live as the action unfolds if you got a hunch how it's going to go. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup like Jack's going to be doing. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. Get your futures in, get your parlays, and diversify your sportsbook portfolio, and you can do that on FanDuel. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Welcome back to the Ring of Honor. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Jack Richardson. The postcast vibes, well, they aren't going to be too much longer until we're back. The Senators open the regular season in just over a month. October 9th in Tampa Bay. Then they'll play the Florida Panthers in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise, down south before coming up on Thanksgiving Monday for the home opener where the Nashville Predators will be in town. Okay, we've got the statistics and everything available, but I do feel like this draft is going to be decided on vibes as well. Jack, the first overall pick in the core of the Ottawa Senators.
All right, so I'm going to start this one off, and I might be getting in my head a little bit about positions. So I am going to go with Jake Sanderson. I think that, again, there are no wrong choices here in this first few, I believe. I think all of us are going to get a stud to lead off our draft, but I think Sanderson, like, he's just really climbed in the last 2 years. Even he was a high-end prospect when they got him. But he's just kind of catapulted himself. I think the Four Nations did wonders the little time he played there. And then he was a beast down the stretch, and especially in the second half of the season. So I think like the sky's the limit with this guy. Obviously we know him. Everyone knows how good Jake Sanderson is. And I think the reason I'm picking him first is because obviously the other two that you guys are probably going to take, I just think Sanderson has the ability and the potential to win those individual awards more than the other two do. That's my reasoning for going with Sanderson. And I also do think it's a little bit thin on the defensive side. So I'm starting mine core with Jake Sanderson, his contract, everything to do with it. I think he's obviously a pretty easy choice at 1-1.
Yeah, most years left on his deal versus the other two guys we'll get to, and the sky is the absolute limit. So good pick, Jack.
Yeah, that's where I would have went at the 1-1. I was curious to see if you would have gone a different way, Jack, but no one's going to argue with that pick. I don't think.
Number 2, I will be going with Brady Tkachuk, the most marketable player on the Ottawa Senators, the captain, the heartbeat, everything you could ask for in a leader. And say what you want about maybe leaving some skill on the table. That's what fans thought the Sens did at the 2018 draft when they didn't take Philip Zadina, and they took a guy who scored 8 goals in college. It's always been about the intangibles of Brady Tkachuk, what he does as a 5-tool player. He shoots, he hits, he fights, he scores, and he fires up his teammates. So if I'm picking a team based on the Ottawa Senators' depth, organizational team as they know it, how can you not take Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah, that's obviously a good pick. I thought you were going to go a different route, but Brady Tkachuk is a good pick. I mean, especially on the cover of the new NHL game. He's getting a lot of shine here on the deluxe cover, I should specify. But
he was the best player on Team USA at the Four Nations and is one of the first 6 players named to Team USA's Olympic roster.
And how about, I mean, maybe this isn't the pinnacle, but he was also an absolute beast in the World Championships for Team USA too. So like he's
the playoffs, he scored a huge goal for Ottawa.
He had 4 goals in 6 games. He was a beast. He was great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when it comes to big games and representing your team, Brady Tkachuk is the man.
Yeah, he is. And that leaves Pillsy with the
Where do you think I'm going to go, guys?
There's absolutely no tease in this one.
Well, I thought about pulling a Ross and taking the player I was going to take in the second round. So then I could be like, look at that value I got in the second round.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. It's going to mess the graphic up. So I'm just going to do as I'm told and do what I'm supposed to do here. I am going with Tim Stützle as my first round draft pick. I mean, to have him as the third pick, the player that led the Ottawa Senators in points last season with 79 points in 82 games. Their number 1 centerman, the highest paid player on the Ottawa Senators, but still at a bargain at what? Like it's like 8.35 or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, 8.35 until 2031. He's only 23 years old. He has really shaped his game to not just be an offensive guy. He got much better defensively this year, much more physical. I mean, this guy was throwing his body around as if he was Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs. Some say he was hitting too much. I don't know if I agree with that, but Tim Stützle, my pick, third overall. Easy.
Yeah. Doesn't get any easier than that. Signed for 6 more years at $8.35 million. Pillsy, don't make the people wait. Let's get into the real draft now, 4 through 12.
Okay, cool. I have 2 different ways I'm going to go with this, and maybe the choice I pick isn't the most popular, but hashtag goalie friendly show. It's a Vezina winner. I'm going Linus Ullmark here. I know he had a bit of health issues, but when he was on, oh my God, he was on. He was stealing wins for this team. He had that stretch where it started off with the back-to-back up against Carolina and then Pittsburgh, and then he just continued to put the team on his shoulder and get dub after dub after dub. He's the first goalie in probably since Craig Anderson to actually give this team confidence in between the pipes in a long term, not just a quick small sample size. So Linus Ullmark, I think for me is the right pick here. I had another guy I was thinking about, but I just think get your number 1 centerman, get your Vezina winning goalie. That's also signed for 4 more years. I like this as a 1-2 in this draft.
Only thing I'll say there is they're already 32 years old. You better be banking that the next couple are going to be great years. Like, this isn't a long-term franchise outlook type pick.
Yeah, but I would push back on that and be like, look at some of the goalies that are able to still be successful in their mid to late 30s. Like, look at Sergei Bobrovsky, right? Like, he had major injuries, ups and downs. We just talked about this, Ross. He was kind of anchor on that Florida team, dragging them down, and then he found his game, and now he's one of, if not the top caliber goalies in the league. I mean, he's a sure Hall of Famer, back-to-back Stanley Cup winner. So and Linus Ullmark, it's not like he's been injury plagued throughout his whole career, right? Like, he's not an injury guy, I wouldn't say. So for that reason, him being in his 30s doesn't bother me or doesn't put his value down much, in my opinion.
He has been hurt, though, at times. It's not like he's got a sparkling track record, but your point stands, and Ottawa knows firsthand with Craig Anderson getting
there's
fine,
another old goalie, yeah.
Like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is interesting for me. I think I'm just going to let my heart lead with this one and see where the pieces fall. I was between two players, but I also, Pilsy's put in my head here that I can't have all the same position, and obviously wingers not as valuable as center D or goalies. So I'm going to go out and just take who I think will become one of the best second line centers in the NHL. Going with Shane Pinto here for my second pick.
Yeah, that's who I was deciding between, Ross. And I knew if I let him pass, you would take him. So there you go. You get Shane Pinto there. But I also didn't want Stützle and Pinto, two centermen. So it's a good pick because his potential is being capped right now, and he can reach above third line checking center potential.
Only thing I don't love is that he's going into the final year of his contract, but just more opportunity to get it done long-term before the real explosion happens. I think he's going to be a 65-point guy that can play both ends of the ice and shut down the other team's top line. So I've always been high on Shane Pinto, going back to putting up a poll that got ridiculed at the time saying, who's the better prospect, Shane Pinto or Josh Norris? I think I was in the 7% on that poll. So, hey, the stocks are soaring. My bet has paid off so far, and I'm going to go Shane Pinto here, Jack.
It's a good pick. I was hoping you would, when you said the position thing, I thought you were going to go another direction, and that's putting me in a pickle here. But
well, I just Ross, Shane Pinto, that's a guy with clean bill of health, though, right? No issues health wise.
Yeah, no, he
None.
played 82 games, I think, each of the last 2 seasons or 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
played no, wait, yeah. He hadn't missed a game with injury in 2 straight seasons.
I was wondering how you're going to word that. Okay,
and then missed just 12 this season, just 12.
If we're doing it, see, like Pinto is such an interesting one. And I like you mentioned his contract, Ross, because he's one that if things drag on, if it's midseason, he's not signed yet, like we could get an idea of his interest around the league, which is kind of what this Ring of Honor is about, right? Like, I think that's a good spot for him because he's definitely in that value spot too in the third line. Like, I know the potential is there for him, but I think where he is, he's so valuable right now too in the second or the third line center, if you want to call that a third line. Okay, so I'll go with my next 2 picks. I got back to back here.
Well, just do one. We're gonna make them wait for the second.
Okay. So that's good because I need time. So I'm just gonna get my first forward off the board here. I'll go with Drake Batherson. Pretty simple one, I think, for contract wise alone. I think Batherson's been on one of the best contracts in the NHL for the duration of it. I know like that game 2 he had, I think is going to stick in everyone's mind until the season starts and he starts producing again. But we forget this guy had career highs across the board, I believe, at least in points for sure. Nearly a 70-point player on that kind of deal. I think Drake Batherson is a perfect second line, secondary scoring option. He's great on the power play. I think people focus on 5-on-5 offense, and that's what needs to pick up for the Sens to take the next step next season. That's no secret, but I think people in the same breath kind of discredit how good their power play was, and he was a huge reason why. He was dynamite on the power play in that bumper spot, and he has been for a few years now, even without his trigger man and Josh Norris. So I think Batherson's an easy second-round pick for me there, and I like that as my first forward.
That's what I was deciding between. I think Batherson's contract too has to be mentioned. 2 years left at under $5 million. Just insane value for a guy who's been a consistent 60-plus point scorer. And another guy who's really durable. Didn't he play all 82 last year? The last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, other than that high ankle injury that he had, that was not his fault, and greasy play.
Yeah.
Three straight seasons of 82 games. Unreal.
He's been reliable. He's been there, and he's been I know there were trade talks with him, rumors, let's say, earlier this summer, and that was kind of the silly season of the NHL, but like, you're not replacing that guy with a trade or anything like that. They have no one in the pipeline coming to replace what he brings offensively. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer to have him there, and he's definitely a core piece of this team.
Yeah, I remember when the Jordan Spence trade was happening, but nothing was announced. There's a Kings writer, reporter, whatever you call him. He goes, man, like there's some great pieces on Ottawa. Like maybe Drake Batherson's coming back.
Crazy.
All right. That's crazy first half of the draft. We'll be back with the second half. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. Welcome back. This is the Ring of Honor presented by the Locked On Senators podcast alongside Jack Richardson and Brandon Piller. I am Ross Levitan. We're halfway through drafting the core of the Ottawa Senators as it stands right now. Jack's got Jake Sanderson and Drake Batherson. I have Brady Tkachuk and Shane Pinto. And Pilsy's got Tim Stützle and Linus Ullmark. Those are the 2 most recent jerseys you've bought, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so I'm playing to my brand here.
All right. Jack, who I believe owns a Jake Sanderson jersey. Am I not mistaken?
He does. It's in that closet there. It'll find its way on the wall soon, mid-move.
He does, he says. And I've got a Brady Tkachuk jersey. So
there we go.
It all works out. And I've got a Shane Pinto Nodak jersey actually too. So
that's sick.
Yeah, that means you might have to get a Drake Batherson jersey next, Jacko.
Listen, I mean, I'm going to fill out a couple guys here probably who I could get a jersey of. All right, my next one, I don't know if this is off the board necessarily. He will probably be picked at some point. It might just be a tad early, but I need a centerman. Give me Dylan Cousins. I think I want the guy who's on the first power play. I think my entire team so far is on the number 1 power play unit as of the season ending. So I just see that, not I'm going by the power play specifically, but I think in terms of value around the league, Dylan Cousins was very coveted at the deadline. And, you can talk about what you want with Josh Norris, but that was not a nothing piece to give up. Like we were just joking about Jordan Spence and joking that Batherson was going back, but Norris was a big piece of this core. He would have been on this list. So the fact that they swapped that, they ended up giving up a second round pick or getting one, sorry. But I think that package, I think there were reports that there was more on the table for Dylan Cousins as well. A Buffalo forward, he was coveted. And then also what he brought once he came to Ottawa, I think really just kind of solidified that, is Shane Pinto potentially going to be the number 1 or number 2 center behind Stützle for the next 5, 6, 7 years? Maybe, but they've also have Dylan Cousins there. He's not just going to go back on the third line. He's paid like he's a second line center too. And I think in the regular season, for the most part, especially right when he got there, the first 10, 15 games, he produced like it. So I think Cousins for me is a forward that I don't want to use the X factor term because I think that gets thrown around a lot with a lot of guys, and I'm guilty of it too. But Cousins to me is a big piece of what will make them deep going forward. He makes them a 3-line team, whereas before when you weren't sure about Norris's health, you'd have to fill in Pinto, and then that takes away the depth from the middle on the third line and so forth. So I think Cousins' consistency with playing games is a big asset that he has. And that's also a theme with my team for the most part, I think, so far. So give me Dylan Cousins, the current second-line center for the Ottawa Senators.
Great pick, Jack. I think that betting on Dylan Cousins is a smart man's game right now going into this season. Like, I don't think he necessarily played his best hockey and still had 16 points in 21 regular season games and had that huge shorthanded goal in Toronto in Game 5 in the third period that helped put that thing to bed. I'm up. Okay.
Wait, can I just ask one question?
You can ask 2 if you want.
No, I'll just do one. If that Josh Norris for Dylan Cousins trade hadn't happened, I guess I'll direct this at you, Jack. Would you put Josh Norris in this spot? Would you have taken him same spot as Dylan Cousins?
No, because of the health concerns. Like, even this season, Norris barely played. He finished the year with Buffalo. Like, they basically traded a guy who was hurt on the IR for Dylan Cousins. He played 3 games for the Sabres. So no, I wouldn't have discredited. Like, I would have considered taking him, I think, but I think just for what Cousins brought, I think the team immediately got better when he got here. A, because he's playing in there, and B, because he's bigger, right shot, like just all these other factors that I think Cousins brings. They're just deeper. They're deeper with him in the lineup, and I think that's why he deserves to be on my list. I don't know about you guys. Would you? I mean, we have to talk about Norris if we talk about Cousins. Would you guys have picked Norris at all?
Fourth round.
I don't think I would have chosen Norris there, but I think Cousins there is the right choice.
Yeah, I think so too. You boys think this is the right choice? I know there's a certain guy who I feel bad leaving off of this spot, but I'm the type of guy that always thinks about the further future. And that's why I'm making sure that my age range is guys who are already NHLers right now, but have more to give. And I'm going with Ridley Gregg. I think that there's still a ton of potential for him to either be a very, very effective third line player, but I also think that there's still a glimpse of opportunity that he could be a top 6 winger if that's where he ends up continuing developing. And of course, we hope that Stützle, Cousins, and Pinto stay healthy. But if one's out, I think you're more likely going to see Ridley Gregg shift over to center. So that versatility I like. His points have accumulated each year. He's now done 2 full seasons. He went from 26 to 34, same amount of goals. I think we could see a 20-goal season from Ridley Gregg coming up in 2025-26, and with a 4-year extension just kicking in at $3.25 million, I think there's a ton of value in that player, and I think there would be league-wide too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. You would have had him available to you next round. I wasn't going to take him with either of my picks there, just because I don't know if I buy that potential that you're trying to sell.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think
buy it up.
I don't know how he's going to fit anywhere other than the third line on this team.
I just told you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not buying it. You can tell me anything you want, Ross. I don't have to believe it or accept it or agree with it. I just don't see how he gets any time in the top 6. I don't think he fits there. I don't see how he becomes a centerman with Brady or Timmy, Cousins, Pinto here. I like Ridley Gregg a lot as a player, but I just think he's going to be a third line guy. He's going to be a good, probably even a great third line guy at a nice value and a good contract that has a bunch of different parts of his game that I like. But I think he's capped. He's limited.
Okay. Well, I don't think he feels that way when he's trying to get better.
So he shouldn't feel that way. And I'm not saying in any situation, if he was on a different team, he couldn't achieve that. I'm just saying we're talking about the Ottawa Senators core here.
I think he's very easily the 8th most important piece.
Ross, not to hype up your team again, but what did Steve Stais say when they signed Ridley Gregg? He perfectly embodies what an Ottawa Senator is. I might be
you hear that,
misquoting that a bit, but I think
it sounds good to me.
I gotta be honest, I was torn between him and Cousins. I was gonna go with him.
And if you took Gregg, I would have taken Cousins.
There we go. I think that's a good spot for him. Like, even trade value wise, that contract alone for him, I think he's still 23. I like that pick. I like Gregg a lot.
Pilsy only takes guys over 30 apparently outside the first round, so we'll see. Maybe he doesn't like the youth movement there.
Wait, what?
You've got a 32-year-old here. No, I said outside the first round.
Okay.
It's a trend that I'm watching develop.
1 pick sample size.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's 25% of his draft, Jack.
Now he's gonna not pick Giroux because he was
Yeah. Oh man, there goes my Giroux pick.
Yeah.
Look, no, you're twisting this. I'm a Ridley Gregg guy. I'm just saying.
Doesn't sound like it.
That's fine. All right, for my pick, I got a centerman, I got a goalie. Let's get some defense up here. I'm going Thomas Chabot, easily the number 2 guy on this team, a smooth skating, point producing guy. He's been a good soldier for the Ottawa Senators. Now, if you give Thomas Chabot a proper partner, he's a number 2 centerman defenseman rather, on almost every team. But he's had to spend most of his career with a guy that anchors him down, a Zaitsev, a Nick Holden, a Hamonic, like just so many guys that just do not complement his style of game. With Nick Jensen, they found that guy, and hopefully Jensen is healthy. But Thomas Chabot had an amazing year this year with the Ottawa Senators. He finished in 80 games, had 45 points, and was a plus 17. So when Thomas Chabot is on his game, he's a big reason why this team can have success. So I'm very happy getting Thomas Chabot at this spot.
Yeah, it's good. That's a guy I felt bad leaving off for my Ridley Gregg pick. I just think that 3 straight seasons where he could not play the majority of the games, it's kind of scared me away, but he had 80 games last year.
Yeah, 80 games last year.
I know the 3 years before that was hit and miss, but
okay.
He was great last year, man. He was so good. He was so, like, just sitting back and thinking about the season more, he was really, really valuable for the Sens. Like, just plus 17. He was the whipping boy for a bit before this season. Really, I mean, even parts of last season. He's it would have been a shame to leave him out of the top 3 rounds for sure.
Yeah, good job, Pillsy. Nice pick.
Thank you. And for my final pick, you got to have some futures. Just like I said in the FanDuel ad read, you got to diversify your portfolio. Look at this: young centerman, older goalie, middle-aged as far as hockey goes, defenseman. Now let's really set our sights to the future, to some potential. I'm going with Carter Yakimchuk with this pick, the 7th overall pick in the 2024 draft. What is one of the hardest, if not the hardest position to have strength in? It's right shot defenseman. I want my right shot defenseman to have a booming shot on the power play. I want my right shot defenseman to have size. Carter Yakimchuk's got it. I want them to play a physical game. He's out there laying open ice hits. He hasn't even had the opportunity to fully show what he can do. We all saw him wearing a Sens jersey, dangling around Toronto Maple Leafs players to score game-winning goals in the preseason. I'm very excited about Yakimchuk. So to finish off my ring of honor with the blue chip prize prospect that this team has, I feel like I'm in a great spot here.
Yeah, that's a great 4th round pick. And now I'm thinking maybe I should take Carter Yakimchuk instead of Ridley Gregg just to get you off the scent. But I am very happy with my final pick. And I like the way Pillsy described it there. If you're building the team, you want to be able to get a little bit of everything. And I know it's not a big sample size in the NHL, but everywhere this guy goes, the numbers are unreal. Levi Merrilainen will be my final pick.
All right. I like it, Jack. You seem disappointed.
Yeah, I wanted him bad. That's a good pick. That's he's going to be great this year. I think he's on a great contract for him too. Like I think he's going to outplay that significantly based on Ullmark's playing history too.
Yeah, and it's not just the NHL, right? Like he had a .913 save percentage last year in Belleville. Obviously, the ECHL is what it is, but a .926 there. Like, I have a lot of faith in how Merrilainen's going to develop because he's got the right attitude, he's got the right abilities. It's an easy pick for me here in round 4.
When you guys know me, like I'm a big stop the puck guy. It's a goalie friendly show, but just get in front of it somehow every night. When he dropped the quote saying it's my job, this is just what I have to do, I was like, this guy's my favorite player on the team. Nice. That was perfect. So I'm excited about Levy this season. That's a good pick too. And I guess I'll wrap up here. I'll wrap up the Ring of Honor. A couple directions I could go, I guess, with the last one. There's some guys who are off that I think deserve to be here, but I think with this one, I'm just going to go with a name that has been synonymous with their core and the development of their core. I'm going to go with a fellow Francophone, Claude Giroux, for my 4th pick. I know that he's maybe not in terms of organizational value when you're talking about a trade and interest from other teams, but you'd be a fool to discredit any of the work that Claude Giroux's done with this core. Specifically the 3 guys at the top, and especially Tkachuk and Stützle a few years ago. Just when he came here, he was producing a bit more than he did, but I think everyone took a dip offensively last season. I'm very curious how he's going to fit in this year. I don't think it'll be on that top line. I think Zetterlund, who's a guy who we've left off here now, will get more of that look. So I think maybe in a year, it's a different conversation. But as of right now, and I think it was proof during his contract negotiation, how important Claude Giroux is to this fan base. Even how exciting was it when a 36-year-old signed for a 1-year deal with bonuses and stuff. It felt like the highlight of the offseason when Giroux finally signed. So I think he's important to have in terms of the core. It would have felt wrong to leave him off. So I'll wrap up the Ring of Honor with Claude Giroux.
Nice. Jack saying he's coming here and taking one for the team. It's not as much of a defeat speech as Pillsy had about a month ago, but what do you think? What do you think about that pick?
No, I like it because,
he's in our top 12 on our organizational value rankings. No spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, this guy still had 50 points, and the fact that he's so good at faceoffs, finishing at 61.5%, and a stat that I'm just slowly getting on here is his shorthanded faceoffs. He's so clutch for that. He's finished 4th in the entire league in shorthanded faceoff wins with 123. So like having a guy that, look, you're down a man. It's the opening draw of the power play for your opponent, but he can snap him back and then you just dump it. There's 30 seconds. Like your opponents are dealing with 1.5 minute power plays instead of the full 2 minutes. And arguably getting back into the zone is the toughest thing. So you can almost shave off half a penalty if things go well with that faceoff win. So there's a lot of value to Claude Giroux. So I don't hate that pick at all.
Honorable mentions in a moment, but first, as we finish off every draft, we read our own teams. Jack, you went first.
Jake Sanderson, Drake Batherson, Dylan Cousins, and then Claude Giroux.
Yeah, it's a very nice team. I went with Brady Tkachuk, Shane Pinto, Ridley Gregg, and Levi Marilainen.
And I've got Tim Stützle, Lena Solmark, Thomas Chabot, and Carter Yakimchuk.
And you can go vote on Twitter at Sens Central. Make sure you're following us all there as well. Jack Richardson, Brandon Piller, and Ross Levitan. That is me, and that is our draft. Honorable mentions, will say I was a little surprised to not see Fabian Zetterlund's name pop up there in the 4th round.
Jack, did you consider him?
Yeah, it was definitely between him and Giroux at the end there, but I think it's kind of fitting, right? Like he's probably going to take Giroux's spot, I'd assume, depending how camp goes on that first line. But I just feel like it would have been unfair to discredit the last few seasons and just put a guy in Zetterlund who's honestly just banking on potential, because what he showed, Giroux was better than him when after the deadline, but he just had more opportunity in my mind. I'm big on Zetterlund. I think he'll be great, but even just contract wise, like he's making more than twice as much as Giroux will against the cap. I think it's pretty simple for me to take the old man over Zetterlund there, but he was a tough one to leave off. He really was, because I think he's going to be a big piece if they can take the next step.
Outside of Zetterlund, Pilsy, who is the toughest guy to leave off?
I didn't really have anyone else that I was considering. Like the only guy, maybe I thought you might be going Logan Hensler with your pick there, Ross, but
no.
Yeah, I mean,
need to see a little more from Hensler, but I almost thought we'd see like a 4th round pick, Jordan Spence, just to fire up the hype train.
Yeah, we got to see how that goes. I'm excited about Jordan Spence, but
I mean, Zub's definitely a part of the core, has been.
I would have done Clevin before either of those guys, though. I think I would have done Tyler Clevin. I would have considered him if I didn't have Sanderson. If I was short a defenseman, I think I would have looked at that for sure. Yeah, because I like the way my roster rounded out. I do.
Yeah.
In terms of great. Not that this was the exercise, but cap hit wise, who has the most expensive team? Is it's either me or Pills? Yeah.
No. But I get Yakimchuk in there. I got the 2 highest paid guys, and then entry level.
I feel like you and I might be really tight. Actually, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close, honestly.
Yeah, we are not math guys. I don't think we should try. Well, Ross, are you going to attempt to do this on the fly?
I got the calculator out right now. 4.95 plus 2. So that's 22.14 million for Jack. 22.14. And this is also not on the dot.
I'm more than that with just 3 of my guys. I got 3 $8 million guys.
Yeah, you're at 24.6 before Yak.
Okay, I was just curious.
Me, I'm at like not much.
Ross is definitely lower, yeah. Well, because Pinto might bump that up, though. We'll see.
No, not going into this season, though. He's 3.75.
No, yeah, that's right. That's true.
Oh, yeah, you're very low, actually.
Yeah, I'm 16.12.
That wasn't the exercise. But
Sounds like it could have been though.
It's part of it. It's part of it. It was cool to put it under consideration for sure. I mean,
Expansion team on a budget.
If Zetterlund and Giroux's contracts were flipped, I probably would have picked Zetterlund, I think, if I'm being quite honest. Like, I just think value-wise, Giroux is going to vault himself up there, and the intangibles.
Yeah, Giroux's the man. Jack, we're starting our organizational value rankings on Monday. So my question for you, I'm actually going to ask you two, but the first one, the more contentious one, who should be last on the organizational value rankings?
Oh,
the whole organization?
Oh, that's tough.
Who should be the first player we cover? Is that a nicer way of saying it, Pillsy?
There you go.
Or is this Belleville?
It's all 65 players.
Oh, who was the 7th round pick that's still technically their property, and however long ago, like 2021, 2022, like whenever it expires, whoever was the last pick of the last year of eligibility, that would be my last person.
Yeah, we actually went with the 7th round pick in 2023.
Okay, that's who it is then.
Yeah,
I apologize to the young man whose name I'm forgetting or don't know, but that's what I'm going with.
Wait, you actually don't know his name?
No, unfortunately, I'm not well versed in depth round picks. I mean, to be honest, those drafts haven't been very friendly either for the Sens. So I think it's,
Nicholas Van Tassel. No spoilers.
Yeah,
I would go with him, I think.
Okay.
Unfortunately for him, maybe he's been better.
We're gonna send him this clip.
Hey, well, if we're sending him this clip, Ross, I'll say I would love to be dead last on an NHL team's organizational value ranking. You're doing pretty good in life if you're dead last on a NHL team's list.
If you get drafted to the NHL, that's just such an accomplishment in and of itself that it's worth it's a life accomplishment, that draft. So he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Pillsy, good news for you as well. You and Van Tassel had the same amount of points last season, the last 16 games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
He's still an NHL property player. There's no disrespect here, just a few laughs along the way. But yes, 65 players will be ranked.
Okay, what was your second? Give Jack a softball here now. You threw him a knuckleball.
I did not expect that one.
I gave him the Tim Wakefield. Woo! It's up in the wind.
Or what? You gave him an ephus there. He thought the fastball was coming down the middle.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be ready for it. Like, what do you? Yeah.
No, this is gonna be like a nice 82 mile an hour fastball up in the zone. What storyline? And we're also going to touch on our top 10 storylines. We're going to splurt them all out there, and we'll be talking more about this in the group chat, the postcast crew throughout the weekend. But then we're going to spend shows diving in a segment to each one. But of all the storylines around the Ottawa Senators heading into this training camp, which one has your attention the most?
It's a good question.
Good question.
I think it's not even I don't know if it's necessarily a storyline, but it's kind of something from last season that I'd like to see progress and fixed, because this is such a weird season, right? Like, they made the playoffs. That was the goal last season. So I think this year it's a lot more of, okay, how did they take a step forward, and what does that look like? And to me, because of the steps they took defensively last year to lead them to the playoffs, they were a great defensive team, great goaltending. They did very well in that regard. So I just want to see, I want their goal scoring to get better. And I think that Staios has talked a lot about it. He did a lot leading up to the deadline, and then he made a big move anyway, a couple of big moves, but he's talked a lot about the internal growth of the core. So my storyline necessarily is going to be goal scoring from guys like Tim Stützle, like Brady Tkachuk. Can Tkachuk get to a 40-goal season? Which I don't think he has yet, right? He's had just a bunch of 31s. He had 39. Stützle had 39. They haven't had a 40-goal scorer with this crew. So I think that's my next storyline, is just goal scoring. And at that, I mean 5-on-5 as well, because their power play has been okay. It's been good enough to win them games in some spots. And it was okay in the playoffs. It wasn't as good as the Leafs, unfortunately. But it was enough to get them by. It didn't cave them in. It was their PK. So to me, it's goal scoring. I just want more 5-on-5 offense from the big boys, because I think that's what the general manager is in a way saying. So it's 5-on-5 goal scoring for me. And when that clicks, if it clicks at all, and that's going to be the main thing I'm looking for in training camp.
And it was 37, not 39. Timmy was the 39 guy. My bad.
Right. But no one's touched 40. And like, it's not not like it's a dead puck era or anything, right? Like 50 goal scorers are popping up all over the place. I think like Zach Hyman had 55 a couple of years ago, it's possible. So I think that's what I'm looking for. Just bigger numbers offensively for the big boys.
Yeah.
Jack,
last
to put
40
it in perspective, just quickly, Ross, no one on the Ottawa Senators had 30 goals last year. So you're talking about 40. No one even had 30. The Sens need to score more.
Last 40 goal scorer for the Sens was a long time ago.
It was Danny Heatley, wasn't it?
No, it was Daniel Alfredson in 2007, 2008. He had 40 goals on the dot and 49 assists. Danny Heatley had 41 goals actually the same year. So they did it the same season.
A long time. I mean, the pizza line was the last line to do it, to get 40 goals. So I'd like to see a 40 goal scorer for the Sens. And I think if that happens, that means their 5-on-5 scoring went higher.
Yeah.
How many goals did Milan McCulloch have that one season? Was it 35?
I know he didn't hit 40. He was in the 30s though.
35. Yeah. That was so weird. He had 18 the year before and 4 the year after, albeit in 23 games.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't sound fair to be like they have to score 40. I'll put it this way. They need either more 20-goal scorers or more of the big boys to step up in a way. I just need more goals. I need more goals, boys. That's what I don't want to see these 1-0, 2-0 games. They've got the talent to do it. And I think they've talked about it. They figured out the defensive side. They're comfortable with that system. Now it's about finding offense in that system. And a lot of that too is on Travis Green. Like, let's not put the lines in a blender after a couple losses. Give them some time to gel, to mesh. You're deep enough now that should work. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for cohesiveness with the forward lines to create more 5-on-5 scoring.
And now having Spence too to get the puck up to the forwards a little quicker than say Travis Hamonic or JVD or any of the right shot defense. And no disrespect to Matt and Palo, who played his role well and will be in and out of the lineup. But I think they're set up for a much better offensive season. Love that. Pillsy, we'll get all yours on Monday. Jack, we'll have to do a preseason pod as well, just shooting the breeze, some storylines, all that. And then we're looking forward, man, postcast coming soon. Appreciate you jumping in. And I know that everybody is going to give you the first-timer bump here in this season of the Ring of Honor. I've got a good feeling like Henry sends prospects clean the floor with us in the prospect draft bus draft. So, yeah, or overhyped prospects. Sorry, not draft bust. Bang. But I think Jack's going to do well here. And I think Pillsy has a good team too.
I don't like all of good teams. I
think it's going to be hard.
A clear loser here.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pick one, I think. It'll be even.
All right. Well, we'll discuss on Monday how it all goes. Again, the voting will go live midday on Friday later today. For Jack Richardson and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.